Imagine this. You sit down to study, you open your laptop, you arrange your pens, you take out your notebook, you crack your knuckles like you're about to perform brain surgery. And then 5 minutes later, you're somehow watching a video called How Penguins Survive Antarctic Winters. You don't even like penguins. Yet somehow, you're now emotionally invested in their survival. Sound familiar? If it does, don't worry. You're not lazy. You're not undisciplined. And contrary to what your inner critic keeps yelling at 11 p.m., you're probably not a failure either. The real problem is that your brain has been tricked for years by social media, by entertainment platforms, by video games, by endless notifications. The world's smartest engineers have spent decades figuring out how to make human beings addicted to clicking, scrolling, swiping, and consuming. But here's the interesting part. The same psychological principles that make people addicted to entertainment can also make people addicted to studying. Today, I'll show you exactly how. And it starts with a surprising truth. Your brain does not hate studying. Your brain hates uncertainty. Let's talk about why. Imagine someone asks you to lift a dumbbell. Easy. Now imagine someone says, lift this mysterious object. We won't tell you how heavy it is. Suddenly your brain becomes cautious. Not because lifting is difficult, but because uncertainty feels dangerous. Studying works the same way. When you tell yourself, I need to study biology, your brain has no idea what that means. Is it 1 chapter? 5 chapters? 3 hours? The entire textbook? Your brain sees a giant fog cloud. And humans naturally avoid fog. We like clear paths. This is why vague goals create procrastination. Your brain doesn't know where to begin. And when the brain doesn't know where to begin, it often chooses Netflix, or TikTok, or cleaning your room, or learning random facts about penguins. Anything except the actual task. This leads us to the first rule. Rule 1. Make studying smaller than your excuses. Most people try to motivate themselves with giant promises. Today, I'm studying for 6 hours. Today, I'm finishing 3 chapters. Today, I'm becoming an academic weapon. 3 hours later, they're eating snacks and negotiating with themselves like politicians. The problem is simple. Big goals scare the brain. Small goals activate the brain. So here's the trick. Don't tell yourself you're studying for hours. Tell yourself, I'll study for 10 minutes. That's it, 10 minutes. Your brain immediately relaxes because 10 minutes feels harmless. Nobody is afraid of 10 minutes. You spend longer deciding what to watch, and something magical happens once you begin. Psychologists call it the Zeigarnik Effect. Your brain hates unfinished tasks. Once you start, your mind naturally wants to continue. It's like watching the first 5 minutes of a movie. You suddenly need to know what happens next. The hardest part was never studying. The hardest part was opening the book. The battle is won before the study session begins. Rule 2. Turn studying into a video game. Think about why games are addictive. It's not because players are constantly winning huge rewards. It's because they receive tiny rewards every few minutes. Level up. Achievement unlocked. Experience points gained. Progress bar increased. Your brain loves progress. In fact, research shows that visible progress can be more motivating than distant rewards. Unfortunately, most students study like this. Read chapter, read chapter, read chapter, feel miserable. Repeat. No progress indicators, no rewards, no visible wins. Your brain gets bored, so instead create levels. For example, Level 1, read 3 pages. Level 2, answer 5 questions. Level 3, summarize 1 concept. Level 4, teach it out loud. Suddenly your study session becomes a mission instead of a punishment. And missions are much more exciting than obligations. Humans love completing things. It's why crossing items off a checklist feels strangely satisfying. Sometimes I write things on my to-do list that I've already completed just so I can cross them off. Don't judge me. Science understands. Rule 3. Use the dopamine sandwich. Most students accidentally train their brains to hate studying. Here's how. They spend 2 hours scrolling, then force themselves to study, then reward themselves with more scrolling. The brain learns something dangerous. Scrolling equals reward. Studying equals obstacle. No wonder studying feels painful. Instead, use what I call the dopamine sandwich. Before studying, do something small and enjoyable. Maybe a short walk, stretching, listening to one favorite song. Then study. Then immediately reward yourself with something healthy and enjoyable. This teaches the brain a new association. Study equals positive experience. Over time, resistance decreases and consistency becomes easier. Rule 4. Trick your future self. Let's be honest. Future you is a liar. Current you says, I'll study tomorrow. Tomorrow arrives. Future you says, I'll start after lunch. After lunch becomes evening. Evening becomes tomorrow. And the cycle continues. The solution? Prepare the battlefield in advance. Before sleeping tonight, place your textbook on your desk. Open the exact page you'll study. Prepare your notes. Fill your water bottle. Remove distractions. Make tomorrow's first step ridiculously easy. The less thinking required, the more likely you'll start. Successful students don't rely on motivation. They rely on preparation. Rule 5. Create productive addiction loops. Every addiction follows a loop. Cue, action, reward, repeat. For example, phone buzzes. You check it. You feel rewarded. Repeat thousands of times. Now let's build a study loop. Cue, a specific playlist, a cup of coffee, a particular desk, a certain lamp. Action, study for 10 minutes. Reward, check off progress. Celebrate a small win. Enjoy a break. Repeat. Eventually, your brain begins associating the cue with focus. This is why some students instantly enter study mode when they sit at a certain desk. Their brains have learned the pattern. Rule 6. Stop using motivation as your boss. This might be the most important lesson. Motivation is unreliable. Some days you'll feel inspired. Some days you'll feel like a productivity machine. Some days you'll feel like a sleepy potato. That's normal. The problem is waiting for motivation before acting. Professional athletes don't train only when motivated. Musicians don't practice only when inspired. Top students don't study only when they feel like it. They create systems. Systems survive bad moods. Systems survive low energy. Systems survive rainy days and lazy days. Motivation comes and goes. Systems stay. Rule 7. Make learning feel like gossip. This sounds strange, but it's incredibly powerful. Your brain remembers stories far better than facts, so stop memorizing information like a robot. Turn information into drama. History becomes easier when it feels like a giant reality show. Biology becomes easier when cells become characters. Physics becomes easier when forces become competing personalities. The brain loves stories because stories create emotional engagement, and emotional engagement creates memory. The more interesting you make information, the less effort your brain needs to remember it. Rule 8. Leave before you're tired. Most students stop studying when they're exhausted. Big mistake. When you always end sessions feeling mentally destroyed, your brain creates negative associations. Tomorrow's session feels painful before it even begins. Instead, stop while you're still capable. Stop while curiosity remains. Leave one question unanswered. Leave one paragraph unread. Leave one problem unfinished. This creates an open loop, and your brain will naturally want to return. It's the same reason cliffhangers work. Your brain craves completion. The final challenge. I want you to try something today. Not tomorrow, not next Monday, not when motivation magically arrives riding a unicorn. Today. Set a timer for 10 minutes. That's all. 10 minutes. No pressure, no giant promises. No unrealistic goals, just 10 focused minutes. If you want to stop afterward, stop. But something interesting usually happens. 10 minutes become 20, 20 become 40, 40 become an hour. Not because you forced yourself, but because momentum took over. And momentum is one of the most powerful forces in human psychology. Remember, the students who appear naturally disciplined usually aren't superhuman. They simply learned how to make studying easier to start. They stopped fighting their brains and started working with them. So don't focus on becoming a study machine overnight. Focus on winning the first 10 minutes. Because those 10 minutes can change your entire relationship with learning. And one day, you'll look back and realize something surprising. You didn't become addicted to studying. You became addicted to progress. And that's a much more powerful addiction.